The Western Hockey League is a major junior ice hockey league based in Western Canada and the Northwestern United States. The WHL is one of three leagues that constitute the Canadian Hockey League as the highest level of junior hockey in Canada. Teams play for the Ed Chynoweth Cup, with the winner moving on to play for the Memorial Cup, Canada's national junior championship. WHL teams have won the Memorial Cup 19 times since the league became eligible to compete for the trophy. The league was founded in 1966 as the Canadian Major Junior Hockey League, with 7 Western Canadian teams in Saskatchewan and Alberta. From 1967, the league was renamed the Western Canadian Hockey League, before settling on the current WHL starting in 1978. The league was the brainchild of Bill Hunter, who intended to build a Western league capable of competing with the top leagues in Ontario and Quebec. Originally considered an outlaw league by the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association, the WHL was sanctioned as the top junior league in Western Canada when junior hockey was reorganized in 1970. Today, the WHL comprises 22 teams, divided into 2 conferences of 2 divisions. The Eastern Conference comprises 12 teams from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia, while the Western Conference comprises 10 teams from British Columbia and the U.S. states of Washington and Oregon. History. Logo timeline. Despite winning the 1966 Memorial Cup, the Edmonton Oil Kings owner, Bill Hunter, was growing concerned about the state of junior hockey in Western Canada. Each of the West's 4 provinces had its own junior league, and Hunter felt that this put them at a disadvantage when competing nationally against the powerful leagues in Ontario and Quebec. Desiring stronger competition, Hunter's Oil Kings competed in the Alberta Senior Hockey League rather than the Alberta Junior Hockey League. The Canadian Amateur Hockey Association informed the Oil Kings that they were required to play in a junior hockey league for the 1966-67 season, or would be held ineligible to compete for the Memorial Cup. This led Hunter to form a new league with 5 former members of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, the Estevan Bruins, Regina Pats, Saskatoon Blades, Moose Jaw Canucks, and Weyburn Red Wings, to leave the SJHL and joined the Oil Kings and the Calgary Buffaloes in a new league known as the Canadian Major Junior Hockey League. Despite concerns that this new league would see the demise of the Alberta and Saskatchewan leagues, the governing bodies in both provinces sanctioned the new league. The CAHA did not, however, declaring the CMJHL to be an outlaw league and suspending all teams and players from participation in CAHA-sanctioned events. The new league accused the CAHA of overstepping its boundaries and, with the support of the players and the families, chose to play the season regardless. The CMJHL renamed itself the Western Canada Hockey League in 1967, adding 4 new teams to total 11 as the league stretched east into Manitoba. Concerns over the WCHL's relationship with the CAHA led the Pats, Canucks and Red Wings to withdraw before the 1968-69 season, returning to the SJHL. When the CAHA reorganized junior hockey in 1971, it named the WCHL one of 3 Tier 1 major junior leagues, along with the Ontario Hockey Association's Tier 1 division and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Early years. The first decade of the WCHL saw constant expansion and franchise movement as the league spread throughout the West. The Flin Flon Bombers became the league's first powerhouse team, led by future NHL stars Bobby Clarke and Reggie Leach. The Brandon Wheat Kings and Swift Current Broncos joined in 1967. The Medicine Hat Tigers in 1970. The WCHL truly became a Western League in 1971 when Estevan moved to BC to become the new Westminster Bruins, joined by expansion franchises the Victoria Cougars and Vancouver Gnats. In the mid-1970s, the new Westminster Bruins became the WCHL's first true dynasty, capturing 4 consecutive championships between 1975 and 1978. The Bruins also won back-to-back Memorial Cups in 1977 and 1978. In 1976, the Oil Kings succumbed to the competing Edmonton Oilers of the World Hockey Association and relocated to Portland to become the Winterhawks, the WCHL's first American franchise. With the addition of American teams in Seattle and Billings a year later, the WCHL shortened its name to the Western Hockey League. Brawling 80s. The 1980s were marked by several brawls that involved police intervention, one of the most bizarre trades in hockey history, and the tragic deaths of 4 players in a bus crash. Early in the 1980-81 WHL season, Medicine Hat Tigers GM coach Pat Ginnell traded blows with a linesman during a bench-clearing brawl against the Lethbridge Broncos. Ginnell was found guilty of assault, fined $360, and suspended for 36 games by the WHL. In March 1982, a violent brawl between the Regina Pats and Calgary Wranglers, or the two teams collectively fined $2,250 and players suspended for 73 games combined. Pats coach Bill Laforge would end up in a courtroom later that season when he got into an altercation with a fan. Laforge was acquitted when the judge noted that it was hard to convict a man for assault when faced with an obnoxious person trying to get into the coach's area. Laforge resigned following the season after serving 3 separate suspensions. On January 19, 1983, the Seattle Breakers dealt the rights to Tom Martin to the Victoria Cougars in exchange for the Cougars team bus. The deal made perfect sense. The Breakers were unable to sign Martin, who wanted to play in his hometown of Victoria, and the Cougars were unable to use the bus because they were unwilling to pay the taxes and duties required to register the vehicle in Canada. On December 30, 1986, tragedy struck the Swift Current Broncos when the bus slid off an icy highway and rolled on the way to Regina for a game. Scott Kruger, Trent Kress, Brent Ruff, and Chris Mantica were killed. The Broncos retired the numbers, and as of 2009 still wear a commemorative patch in remembrance of the 4 players who died. The WHL later renamed its award for Most Valuable Player as the 4 Broncos Memorial Trophy in their honor. Modern league. The last 25 years in the WHL have been marked by another period of expansion and the return of the league to Western Canada's major cities. The Kamloops Blazers became the WHL's second dynasty in the early 1990s when they won both the WHL Championship and Memorial Cup 3 times in 4 years between 1992 and 1995. The Kelowna Rockets have become the third dynasty, winning 3 WHL titles in 2003, 2005, and 2009, and winning the Memorial Cup as host city in 2004. The Portland Winterhawks became the first American team to win the Memorial Cup, winning it in 1983 while hosting the tournament. The Hawks won the Memorial Cup again in 1998 in Spokane, Washington. In 1995, the Calgary Hitmen were born when a group of investors, including Bret the Hitman Hart, from whom the team got its name, were granted an expansion franchise. Despite early fears that the WHL could not succeed in an NHL city, the Hitmen have been a major success, averaging as many as 10,000 fans per game in 2004-05. The Hitmen were followed 1 year later by the Edmonton Ice, who failed after only 2 seasons because of conflicts with the Edmonton Oilers. The team would become the Kootenay Ice, who have become a major success in Cranbrook, British Columbia, despite being one of the smallest markets in the league. In the 2000s, the league gave birth to 4 new expansion teams: the Vancouver Giants in 2001, the Everett Silvertips in 2003, the Chilliwack Bruins in 2005, and the Edmonton Oil Kings in 2007. As the Oilers have taken an interest in cultivating a junior team in the Alberta capital, the WHL is stereotypically known for producing large, hard-hitting defensemen and gritty power forwards, although recently a high percentage of quality goaltenders have come out of the league as well, as evidenced by the fact that the 5 of the last 6 winners of the CHL Goaltender of the Year award have come from the WHL. Since 2006, Shaw TV has become the television partner with the league in Canada, airing a game every Friday night and other select games throughout the season, as well as 1 round of every playoff series. Starting in 2009, FSN Northwest agreed to air some games throughout the Northwestern United States. On February 21, 2011, that year's defending champions Calgary Hitmen hosted the Regina Pats, who are Canada's oldest major junior hockey team, at McMahon Stadium for an outdoor game in conjunction with the 2011 Heritage Classic. The WHL teams wore retro-inspired jerseys. The Spokane Chiefs also announced they would host the Kootenay Ice outdoors on January 15, 2011, being the first game of such. The 2010-2011 season was the first to be featured in each Sports NHL 11 video game, including all the teams and rosters. Member teams. For the 2015-16 season, the WHL comprises 22 teams divided into 2 conferences, making it the largest league in the CHL. The Ontario Hockey League has 20 teams and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League has 18. The WHL has member teams across 4 Canadian provinces and 2 American states. The Eastern Conference comprises teams from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta and eastern British Columbia. The Western Conference is made up of teams based in British Columbia, Washington and Oregon. The top 8 teams in each conference qualify for the playoffs, with the division winners declared the top 2 seeds in the first round of the postseason. The 4 remaining teams in each conference are reseeded by regular season points in the second round of the playoffs. Eastern Conference. Western Conference timeline of franchises: Calgary Buffaloes, Calgary Centennials, Billings Bighorns, Nanaimo Islanders, New Westminster Bruins, Tri-City Americans, Edmonton Oil Kings, Portland Winterhawks, Estevan Bruins, New Westminster Bruins, Kamloops Junior Oilers, Kamloops Blazers, Moose Jaw Canucks, Regina Pats, Saskatoon Blades, Weyburn Red Wings, Brandon Wheat Kings, Flin Flon Bombers, Edmonton Oil Kings, Great Falls Americans, Spokane Flyers, Swift Current Broncos, Lethbridge Broncos, Swift Current Broncos, Winnipeg Jets, Winnipeg Clubs, Winnipeg Monarchs, Calgary Wranglers, Lethbridge Hurricanes, Medicine Hat Tigers, Vancouver Nuts, Kamloops Chiefs, Seattle Breakers, Seattle Thunderbirds, Victoria Cougars, Prince George Cougars, Winnipeg Warriors, Moose Jaw Warriors, Kelowna Wings, Spokane Chiefs, Prince Albert Raiders, Tacoma Rockets, Kelowna Rockets, Red Deer Rebels, Calgary Hitmen, Edmonton Ice, Kootenay Ice, Vancouver Giants, Everett Silvertips, Chilliwack Bruins, Victoria Royals, Edmonton Oil Kings. Cities represented: education, The WHL has taken a much greater role in its players' educational needs in recent years. The league operates a scholarship program that offers 1 full year of tuition, textbooks and compulsory fees for each season they play in the WHL. Since the program was introduced in 1993, more than 3,000 scholarships of this caliber have been handed out at a total value of $9 million. Each team maintains an academic advisor, who monitors the academic progress of all players along with the league's Director of Education Services. Canadian universities and colleges recruit extensively from the WHL, affording graduating players the opportunity to continue playing hockey as they attend post-secondary institutions. The U.S. National Collegiate Athletic Association, though, considers graduates of the WHL to be professionals and thus ineligible to participate in college hockey programs in the United States. Players hoping to receive scholarships to and play for American universities must play Junior A hockey in one of the Canadian Junior Hockey League's member organizations of the United States Hockey League to retain their NCAA eligibility. Player eligibility. The WHL Bantam Draft is an annual event which teams select players from Bantam Hockey League age groups 14 of 15 years old. The order of selection depends on the final standings of the teams. The last place team selects first, the second to last will choose second, and so on. Players aged 15 to 20 are eligible to play in the WHL, though 15-year-olds are permitted to play only 5 games unless the midget team's season has ended. Also, each team is allowed to have only 3 20-year-olds on the rosters, unless there is an expansion team, in which case 5 20-year-olds are eligible to play. Each team is permitted to carry only 2 non-North American players. Each of the CHL's 3 member leagues are granted exclusive territorial rights to players from within North America. The WHL holds rights to players from the 4 western provinces, the U.S. Pacific Northwest and other designated U.S. states west of the Mississippi River, and the Yukon, Northwest Territories and Nunavut. Memorial Cup champions. The Memorial Cup has been captured by a WHL team 19 times since the league's founding records. Individual most goals in a season: 108. Ray Ferraro, 1983-84. Most assists in a season: 136. Rob Brown, 1986-87. Most points in a season: 212. Rob Brown, 1986-87. Most penalty minutes in a season: 511. Brent Goggle, 1977-78. Most points in a season: Rookie, 145. Petr Nedved, 1989-90. Most points in a season: Defenseman, 140. Campland, 1983-84. Most hat-tricks in a season: 15. Ray Ferraro, 1983-84. Most goals in a single game: 7. 5 times. Last by Kimby Daniels, 1990-91. Team most wins in a season: 60. Victoria Cougars, 1980-81. Most wins in an inaugural season: 35. Everett Silvertips, 2003-04. Most points in a season: 125. Brandon Wheat Kings, 1978-79. Most goals in a season: 496. Kamloops Blazes, 1986-87. Fewest goals against in a season: 125. Kelowna Rockets, 2003-04. Most power play goals in a season, 180. Swift Current Broncos 1988-89. Trophies and awards. Ed Chynoweth Cup Playoff Champions. Scotty Munro Memorial Trophy, Regular Season Champions. 4 Broncos Memorial Trophy, Player of the Year. Darrell K. Seaman Trophy, Scholastic Player of the Year. Bob Clark Trophy, Top Scorer. Brad Hornung Trophy, Most Sportsmanlike Player. Bill Hunter Memorial Trophy, Top Defenseman. Jim Piggott Memorial Trophy, Rookie of the Year. Del Wilson Trophy, Top Goaltender. Dunk McCallum Memorial Trophy, Coach of the Year. Lloyd Saunders Memorial Trophy, Executive of the Year. Alan Paradise Memorial Trophy, Top Official. St. Clair Group Trophy, Marketing Public Relations Award. Doug Wickenheiser Memorial Trophy, Humanitarian of the Year. WHL Plus Minus Award. AIRBC Trophy, Most Valuable Player in the Playoffs. Commissioners. Ed Chynoweth 1972-1995. Dev D. Lay 1995-2000. Ron Robison 2000 present.